About what led to the DUI arrest of Tiger Woods. The incident sparked an important discussion about the dangers of driving under the influence of certain types of medications. Dr. Ali Kasraeian shared more information on the topic. Take a look.
Well, the police report from Tiger Woods' recent DUI arrest reveals one of golf's all-time greats was actually asleep at the wheel when police found him. They say he was confused about where he was going. The 41-year-old golfer issued a statement blaming his DUI arrest on prescription medicine. Woods said, quote, "I want the public to know that alcohol was not involved. I didn't realize the mix of medications had affected me so strongly." Police say he failed a roadside sobriety test. They took him to jail and confirmed there was no alcohol in his system. Joining us now to explain, we welcome our medical contributor, Dr. Ali Kasraeian. So, all right, Tiger Woods says no alcohol in his system. He was mixing medications, which sounded a little shady at first. But now police have confirmed that. So can it be that dangerous to your system? Can you really be so out of it just from mixing medications that a doctor did prescribe for you?
We can look at this physiologically. So alcohol is a sedative. Narcotic pain medications are sedatives. They work at kind of depressing your ability to think, your ability to be awake. And so all can have similar types of effects. His breathalyzer was 0, but they can have the same effect. So if you kind of mix some of those medications. So with this, they talk about 4 different types of medications. I kind of actually looked at a thing that was on the web in terms of the printout. Spelling's a little bit off. You don't quite know. One of the medications that they talked about, the Saloxix, was it? If you kind of look at closer, all these interpretations of what that could be.
So he said he was taking Vicodin, and he just had back surgery. So it's possible that he's been on pain meds for a long time. So would he have had to have mixed something in with Vicodin, or just Vicodin alone? Because people take painkillers.
So if you kind of look at it, so we've actually discussed this topic before. So if you've been on pain medication before, you may need higher doses to kind of get the pain relief effect. So it could have been a higher dose. And again, one thing I put out this to us having this discussion in our audience. There's going to be a lot of people sitting around just like this and guessing what ifs. The very simple thing that's going to happen is that it seems like, based on the information that's out there, that they got a urine sample that's a tox screen, and so very soon we'll know what was in the system. So all of this conversation is really fairly pointless at this point, because we are kind of throwing a guy that's been through a lot already under the bus, and that. I urge people to take a little bit of a seat back where, bad people do good things and good people do bad things. And what it looks like at this point, he underwent the surgery, which seemed to put him in a better place. He was feeling good. It didn't seem like he was in a place that he was looking to act out, or this was a cry for help or anything of that nature. This could have been just a bad choice that put him in a bad situation. He wasn't hurting anyone.
But Dr. Kasraeian, the one thing I think we got to make sure that people realize, when it first happened, we're like, oh, he was drunk. That's not true. And he wasn't. He had prescribed medications, we believe. I think is the importance that even when it comes to prescribed medications, if they say you shouldn't drive, I mean, that is just as dangerous as driving while drunk.
So I think that's the most important thing for people who look at this entire thing with regards to the message this week from the Tiger Woods DUI. That is a take-home message for everyone to take away from this thing. A DUI doesn't simply mean driving under the influence of alcohol. When you take pain medications, when you take muscle relaxants, when you mix the two together, when you take a variety of different types of medications, even cough suppressants with codeine in it. Codeine is a medication that can potentially act like a narcotic pain medication. Codeine alone is that when it's mixed with a cough suppressant, it acts the same way. So potentially all of these things are dose-based. Talk to your doctor about that. Make sure that you are responsible on how you take these. And with driving under the influence of medications, especially narcotic medications, these are a little bit more challenging because, and it's a very complicated issue because how they affect people is much more variable.
Person to person.
Yeah.
So like, if you're a bigger person, would it seem logical you could take more medication, but that might not be the case?
And your own personal medical history, the other medications you're on.
I was going to say, so after I had my C-section, I was on, I think it was Vicodin. It was something really strong. Well, my husband took the same one for some other condition. He could not handle it. it barely affected me.
Wow.
I didn't see, I could have driven, I wasn't because I just had a surgery. But for him, it totally put him out. So it really is a lot depending on the person as well.
Absolutely, and you got to be mindful. So pain medications you should not drive on. And if you get pulled over, whether it was a situation like this or any situation, you should not drive on it. Some anxiety medications you shouldn't. Ambien or sleeping medications you shouldn't.
I bet he was on Ambien. I shouldn't say that.
But again,
I bet it was.
I mean, the dangerous thing for us to do is to sit around the coffee table and throw all this stuff out because it's dangerous. The big thing to take away from this, obviously do not drive while drinking. A study was done in 2015. They actually found more people who died in motor vehicle accidents had drugs in their system than alcohol. So be very mindful that this can be dangerous. If you are taking pain medications, anxiety medications, antidepressants, if you're taking them all together, be mindful if you're going to drink on them, and do not drive.
And this can be very fatal. It reminds me of the time years ago when R&B sensation Gerald Levert mixed medications and he died.
Absolutely.
I bet people are dying from that.
Absolutely.
So be very careful. And the last thing, when you take this information in, take it with a grain of salt, and before you throw knives out there, make sure you get all the information in anything that we do, because this stuff is going to happen. Everyone's going to kind of guess what happened. We're going to find out when the tox screen comes out, and then we'll know the information, but use it in a way that you can take things forward. This is a very important message where if you're taking medications, you can get pulled over, you can go to jail, and you can potentially hurt yourself and others. So, so take that information. That's the takeaway from this.
Dangerous stuff. All right, well, something else we want to ask you about. Reports that scientists have developed a new version of an antibiotic that could fight off superbugs. All right, so let's start with what are superbugs and why are they so hard to get rid of?
So I think there was a movie you guys showed with Wonder Woman, the superbug is the villain.
Okay.
It's hard to get rid of those super women.
Absolutely. The outfits are going to be spectacular.
That's the next movie.
Do those little superbugs wear those little outfits?
Yeah, I don't know what the color schemes are.
Ant-Man.
Like
all right.
I'll be here all week. No comedian in the segment before, so
okay, make it up for
do it for him.
So with this, what a superbug is a very concerning thing that's emerging, and we seem to talk about it a lot because there are bugs that are becoming resistant to the antibiotics that we have, and this is a multifactorial issue. A lot of it comes from the fact that we just use antibiotics a lot. A lot of times people feel ill for a lot of reasons. Could it be a viral issue? Could it be a bug that is a bacteria? You get antibiotics, you don't finish the course, you don't take it appropriately, and so the bugs that survive may potentially develop resistance to it. So the next time you get an infection, or the bugs that remain are now stronger, and they develop ways to now not get affected by the antibiotic. And in hospitals, this becomes incredibly difficult. And this particular study that was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences talked about a way to modify and re-engineer an antibiotic that's been around for 60 years called vancomycin to work in a little bit of a different way so that it can potentially fight off resistance.
So are people working on it all the time? Because people are dying in hospitals and getting horrible infections. Is it a group of doctors and researchers that are doing this?
People all around the world working
trying to do the same thing.
Some people argue that this is going to be one of the biggest problems that we face as bugs develop. And again, this is one antibiotic in the face of one group of organisms. We have organisms that are sensitive and becoming resistant to multiple different types of antibiotics. So we have a broad spectrum of antibiotics, and the challenge with this is you can't just go in a lab and theoretically synthesize antibiotics. You have to sometimes look to nature, and so one way they're looking at is to see if we can modify antibiotics that are there to potentially become either stronger or find ways to fight off resistance. Here what they did is they gave basically 3 pathways of resistance guards. So the idea with this is if a bug or an organism or a bacteria finds one way to become resistant, you have 2 other mechanisms that can't do it. So it's pretty impossible, or we hope that it's impossible for a bacteria to be able to find resistance to all 3. So let's say you have a gun and you have a grenade and you have a sword at the same time. If it finds a way to wield off the death from the sword, you're going to probably kill it with the grenade and the gun, and vice versa. So that's the idea with how this works. And basically, vancomycin-resistant enterococcus, or VRE, which is a very, very dangerous organism if it develops, and if it becomes resistant to this, It's a big issue. So now potentially we put a safeguard to it. It's 1,000 times stronger, so you can use a smaller dose for those bugs that don't necessarily get to this point.
All right, very interesting. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully it'll continue to be even better as we go on. So, all right, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Kasraeian. This medical contribution furnished by Kasraeian Urology. You can hear more from Dr. Kasraeian on his weekend radio show, The Conversation, Saturdays on WOKV from 5 to 6.
All right, well, coming up next, a campaign to make the people of North